two announcements coming tonight, 6 o'clock here on this Wednesday, that may impact LSU. The hope is that they impact LSU, and right now the prevailing thought is that they will impact LSU. Five-star edge rusher Trenton Henderson is set to make his announcement, and then J.J. Bush, a linebacker who was ranked a 4-star by On3, will make his announcement at 6 o'clock tonight as well. And I want to talk about both of these players because June was jam-packed with visitors for LSU. I mean, high-profile names, weekend after weekend, official visits, rolling out the red carpet, the meals, the visits, the photo shoots, the Twitter posts, Instagram tracking. Like, it was wall-to-wall in June. Now, I don't know that I was as locked into it as maybe some of you are, because LSU is chasing a national championship in baseball, and that's what we spent more of our time on. But we were certainly aware that a lot was going on from a recruiting perspective, and it was pretty light on commitments. You got one. You got one. Quarterback from Winsboro is going to play corner for you. But you figure that some dominoes are going to start falling at some point, and for LSU, the hope is that's tonight. We'll start with Trenton Henderson, who is from Pensacola. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. If you look at 24/7, they rate him as the number 28 player in the nation, a 5-star recruit, the number 4 edge rusher in the country, number 5 player in the state of Florida. And all indications are that he is likely headed to LSU. You look at the crystal balls. You see that LSU is the leader there. Florida's in the mix. LSU's in the mix. Florida State's in the mix. Michigan is in the mix. One of the things I really like about Trenton Henderson, and there's a lot to like. You look at a guy who is 6'4" and 225 pounds, long limbs, lean, athletic. And you look at his statistics in high school, and as you'd expect, he's really good. 50 tackles, 18 TFLs, 20 hurries, 10 sacks in 10 games as a junior. So you're talking about a guy who's getting back there and hurrying the quarterback twice a game and had a sack a game for Pensacola Catholic. But I also like the fact that he plays basketball. I like those hybrid athletes who use skill sets in different ways. And then once you get to LSU, wherever your college destination may be, but in this case, you hope for Trenton Henderson that it's LSU, you hope that you can hone in all those athletic traits and then be coached up by some of the best coaches in the country to kind of reach your full potential. So I like the fact that Henderson has played basketball in his prep career. Kevin Peoples is leading this recruiting for LSU, and to me, there's a lot to sell for Kevin Peoples because you're talking about two guys that just left and just got picked in the NFL draft that prior to their 2024 season were not elite level players. Braden Swinson bounced around Oregon down to LSU. Even his first year at LSU was kind of a rotational piece. Savion Jones came in as kind of the next guy to take over. You had K'Lavon Chaisson and B.J. Ojulari, and he was kind of going to be next, and it never really panned out, and he put on a good bit of weight, and then he lost his burst, and he just, I went into last season thinking, well, that guy's not going to be, a great player. And both those guys were excellent this past year in Kevin Peoples' first year coaching the edge rushers. And so that's a really easy story to tell. It's not in the distant past. You can have those guys help you tell it. And it to me would entice the best edge rushers in the country to at least take a look at LSU. And if you look at the profile, like Trenton Henderson is one of the best edge rushers in the country, and he is looking at LSU, and the hope for the Tigers tonight is that Henderson does pull the trigger. You have to continue to get these guys in the boat from the high school ranks. And there are probably some of you that will push back on that and be like, no, the portal's fine. Look what they just did. Went and got Patrick Payton, just got Jamari Butler, went and got Jack Pyburn. Like, they can just fill the pipeline with that. But that's an every year thing, and you don't get the chance to bring them in and develop them over multiple years, and it is something that is necessary for the program to do that each and every year. But if you can get Trenton Henderson in and get him into the culture, get him into the weight room, get him into the defensive system, get him in with Kevin Peoples, and then you can have multiple years of him as opposed to a guy like Butler or a guy like Payton or a guy like Pyburn, take your pick, that is here for just 1 year. You get more production. So I think this is a big ad potentially for LSU. The Tigers have had a ton of success recruiting Florida over the last 2 decades, and they hope that this one right out of the Panhandle is next up for them. So Trenton Henderson, probably the biggest name to watch for today, but J.J. Bush is another name to watch today. He's going to announce a little bit later this afternoon. He is a linebacker, 6'3", about 210 pounds. He hails from Theodore, Alabama, and LSU is fighting off teams like Florida, teams like Missouri, teams like Miami for his services, and LSU appears to be in a really good spot for him. Now, if you look at Bush, he is a really, really good athlete, like really good. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, but he also, and I mentioned this with Henderson, is a multi-sport guy. 18.9 points per game and 8.5 rebounds per game on the basketball court this past season. He was a Coastal Alabama all-regional selection as a junior. 19 points and 8.5 rebounds is no joke on the high school basketball circuit. Then he goes and runs track, and he runs a 24.32 in the 200-meter, and he long jumps 20.8 as an 11th grader, as a junior. So you're talking about 200-meter speed, long jump athleticism, the hand-eye coordination to be able to score 19 points a game in high school basketball and grab 8.5 rebounds. And oh, by the way, he plays linebacker and running back and returns kicks for his high school. Last year at running back, he ran for 350 yards and 6 touchdowns, and LSU's recruiting him as a linebacker. And it's not like he's all these athleticism things, but he's a little bit undersized. He's 6'3". You take that frame, that kind of athleticism, and you turn him into a full-time football player, and you get him into a collegiate weight room and a strength program, nutrition program. That's a guy it's easy to see putting on 25, 30 pounds. Now you're 6'3", 230, and one of the best athletes on the field. I think this is a really promising prospect that Blake Baker has been handling the recruiting on. Arkansas is certainly in the mix. I mentioned Missouri's in the mix. Baylor's in the mix as well. I'm a little bit puzzled. And again, I don't pretend to sit here and be some sort of elite talent evaluator on the football side of things. Like, that's not my corner of the store. Y'all know that. So I'm not here to break down the hand placement and the bend and all. Like, that's not my deal. But it's surprising to me that somebody with these measurables and these athletic traits is not on more national power radars than Bush is. I mean, I don't mean to be completely flagrantly disrespectful to Arkansas and Missouri and Baylor, but they don't exactly swim in the same waters as LSU, and I'm sure Eli Drinkwitz would push right back on that, and he would be wrong. But that's okay. I'm surprised that you're not talking about more high-profile programs taking a look at him. He's a 4-star recruit by 24/7. If you look at the 24/7 composite, he is a 3-star recruit, number 493 nationally. But look, 24/7's got him as the number 16 linebacker in the country, and I just think based on the frame and the athleticism, like, that tends to make a lot of sense. So these two guys are set to make their announcements later this evening. LSU is crystal balled, is recruiting prediction machine, is whatever site you want to look at. They are the favorites to land both of them. And certainly the coaching staff hopes that a long June of recruiting pitches and visits and hosting parents and pitching kids and then going ahead and doing the FaceTiming and everything that goes into it. Finally, that's a couple of commitments here on this 2nd of July. So wanted to start the show there. Very important stuff for LSU as they look to continue to build on that 2026 class they're trying to ink in December of this year. So Trenton Henderson and J.J. Bush, your names to watch for this evening. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.